I walked my dog every day for 30 days. Here's what happened. A couple months ago, a friend of a friend called. They needed to get rid of a puppy desperately and we couldn't say no. So we adopted a little Siberian husky we named Misty. And for those of you who know anything about huskies, there's a lot of memes online about them and it can seem very scary and intimidating. One of the traits they have is they're very high energy and they need a lot of stimulation, both mentally and physically. And I felt that could be really great for me as well because I felt I needed stimulated mentally and physically and we were a perfect match. So I wanted to challenge myself by getting up early every single day for 30 days, walking her for the equivalent of a 5K and seeing how that would change me over that course of time. I logged as much information as I could and I want to share the results in this video. And before we begin, I want to give a huge thanks to TLF for helping to make this video possible. I'm wearing their clothes, I wore them throughout the 30-day period and I love their stuff. If you want to grab some of your own, go to tlfapparel.com and use code TLF-buff for 15% off. Oh yeah. So to get things started on day one, I went ahead and weighed in because I just wanted to see where I was at, do a little bit of a mirror check. And it can always be great motivation because as you're able to look back and see how you've changed physically, it can always be a great way to stay hungry and keep wanting to push forward. So I went ahead and did that. I felt ready to go. And then we got started with day number one. And we kept it very simple. Thankfully, our neighborhood loop is basically an exact 5K, being 3.1 miles, which I felt was great for the both of us. That's about a 45-minute brisk walk, which we went ahead and did immediately upon rising every single morning. She needed to get up in order to go to the bathroom. 95% of the time I did too, so I figured now that we're both up, why don't we just get to walking right away? And it was a perfect routine. And I mentioned earlier that huskies can be a little scary. The internet can make them seem a little bit intimidating, but one thing I noticed with Misty right off the bat that I really appreciated, this little girl was a walker. She just charged forward, so she was a really great walking partner, and I appreciated that immediately. Now it was up to me to try to keep up because we're off to a great start, but you typically are on day number one. You're hyped up, you're motivated, you're good to go. The thing where 99% of people fail is to keep that consistency because consistency is the most important part, but it's also the most boring part. One thing that I feel a lot of people neglect is just repeating the process over and over again. The boring part, the grind. And it's that consistency that usually differentiates a dude from a buff dude. And many times in the past, I've snoozed that alarm. I've maybe made an excuse why I shouldn't get up in order to walk, but this little husky was not gonna let me make those excuses. She was ready to go every single morning, and that inspired me to get up and walk every single morning. And a lot of times when talking about physical activity, you discuss, of course, the changes to your body, but you also really need to take into account the changes that can happen to your mind in regards to a positive outlook. Halfway through this experiment, I noticed a lot of really positive changes. Number one, I was getting up and just really enjoying the mornings, enjoying the weather, and I decided early on not even to listen to music. A lot of times that's what keeps me going, but with a dog, I just wanted to kind of be a little bit more in touch with her, just in case she kind of had any needs or was trying to signal me in any way. And maybe I was overthinking it a little bit, but I thought I want to have that connection with her. And it was really an enjoyable experience for me because I felt like I was able to be in that moment. I was able to appreciate the walk, which I really got quite addicted to. And in addition to the mental, of course, the physical benefits was another thing that I was hoping to see some improvements on, and I did. Over the course of the 30 days, I began to see a physical transformation in my body. I began to lose some weight. I began to look leaner, and as you can see from the before and after, there is a difference I am very happy with. It never really got beyond a brisk walk. The average miles per hour was 4.5. So there wasn't really any jogging. There wasn't really any running. It was just that consistent walking every single morning. And as I mentioned earlier, it's that consistency that can really help you achieve your goals if you just stick with it and if you just keep repeating the process over and over again. And looking at the numbers here, you can see there is some pretty crazy statistics, at least I thought so, is the total miles over that 30-day period was 110.5 miles. The average time I spent walking with her a day was 40 minutes. The total hours was 25. So in the 30-day period, we spent over a full day walking, which is pretty wild. But when you're only doing it 40 minutes every single morning, it never seemed like it was too much, but it adds up fast. Again, the consistency. The total calories burned was 14,000. So if you want to imagine it as pounds of fat, that would be the equivalent of 4 pounds. The average step we were taking was 5,500. My average heart rate was 120. My average max heart rate was 150. And our average pace was 4.6 miles an hour with an elevation change of 95 feet. And that is almost exactly what we did every single day for 30 days. It averaged being 3.2 total miles, 40 minutes, that 4.6 mile an hour pace, real simple stuff. We were not doing anything that was like crazy taxing for either me or her. And at the end of this thing, I just feel fantastic. She's been really great for me. I love having her around. She makes a great cardio companion. And of course, for all of you who own dogs or are thinking of owning a dog, there's a reason they call man's best friend. So there you go. That's what happened to me when I walk my dog every day for 30 days. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know some of the things that you do with your dog because I would love to learn them. I would maybe even love to implement some of them into my training regimen. It's always fun to try something new and get out of your comfort zone a little bit. So take care, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time, stay buff.